Hello, this is Beverly from scrapandthread.blogspot.com. Today I wanted to show you how to go about assembling a gatefold card. This happens to be a standard size. It'll fit in a regular envelope, and as long as the embellishments aren't too bulky, you don't need any additional postage. This opens in the center rather than on the side or on the top, and then you can cut it so that it has flaps like the diagonal cuts there, or you can assemble it so that you don't make any cuts there at all. This is made with pattern paper and cardstock, or you can make it with just cardstock or just pattern paper, whatever, as long as it's thick, whatever you decide to do. That image in the middle is from the Picture My Life cards from Close to My Heart, and they're leftover cards like that, and I just fussy cut them and assembled them on there. And then the little mustache is cut from the Artiste Cricut cartridge on the top. And it's all about what kind of design elements you like and what you want to put on your cards, but that's how I assembled that particular one. And then you can do them lots of different ways and get lots of different looks to them. This one is from the Balloon Ride paper packet, and I used a stamp there for the balloon called it's from the set called Give a Lift. And even though the Balloon Ride paper packet is the same name as the Picture My Life cards that I used on the other card, it is a little bit different. The other ones are set up as cards, whereas these are double-sided papers. And then I cut the papers to fit for the belly band and for the insert that I put in there, and used one of the sentiment stamps from that same thing. And that's just put on regular basic cardstock, and then the pattern paper is on there and on both of the flaps and also on the inside. This next one, the belly band, is made a little differently. I used a wooden embellishment from the Sarita Embellishments collection, and I Velcroed it, or hook and loop taped it together so it could come off easily that way. The other belly bands just slide on and off. And then with this one I used the Sarita paper. And these are all double-sided, so then you choose which side you like best and how you want to have that on the card, and whether or not you want it to have a matted effect so you can see the cardstock underneath or not. So the way you do this is you'll score your paper, and I usually do an entire piece of paper and then cut it in half. That way I can make two cards from one piece of paper rather than having to score them separately. It's just a little bit of a time saver if you're making extra cards. So I cut it, actually I don't cut it in half, I cut it at 5.5 inches, excuse me. So then what you'll do is you'll score it in 4 places. You score it at 2 inches, at 4 inches, at 8 inches, and at 10 inches. And then once you've done the scoring, you cut it to whatever size you want. And if you want it to fit in a standard envelope, then you'll cut it at 5.5 inches. And then I'll show you what else you do next. Okay, so I end up with 2 pieces that are 12 inches by 5.5 inches, and then I have a 1-inch piece left over that I cut into half, so it's 1/2 inch by 12 inches. And these are all scored already and ready to go if I want to use those for the belly bands. I'm going to set this one aside. So then what you'll do is just fold it on your score lines and fold it back again, and fold it one more time and fold it back. And so you'll have a card like this. Now if you want to have it so that it has the graduated segments and a kind of an empty space in here, then what you'll do is you'll want to cut off a segment that goes along on that side and on this side. And so to do that, and you can change how big you make this or how small. You can make it really any size you want to. I've cut it 2.5 inches, 3 inches, whatever works for you. And then you also need to decide whether or not you want to have a border around your cardstock, or if you want, or your pattern paper, or if you want it to go all the way around like this, or in the case of this one, it's just all pattern paper here. So that's kind of a design element question. So these segments are 2 inches wide. So you would cut your paper 2 inches, and you can use either side, it doesn't matter. And the insert here is, I made this 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches, and so that will go right in here. Now, if you want to keep it this way, where you have it just open like this, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I happen to like it when you can see the segment in here. So to do that part, you would measure up 2 1/2 inches and make a little mark. Make a mark here, and take your ruler and draw a line there. Do the same thing on this side, draw your line, and then cut it off. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so on here I measured and made my mark, and so I drew my line. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I have a line here and there's a line here. So you just cut that off. You can use scissors or a paper trimmer, doesn't matter. And for time's sake, I'll just cut off the one. And then I just fold it in like that. Fold it back. If you have a bone folder, you can certainly use those to make your folds a little bit flatter. And then you do the same thing on the other side. So when you have that done, you end up with your piece like this. So it looks like that. And then you can decide what you want to put in there and adhere this down. If I'm making a lot of cards, and actually if I'm making cards that have big pieces to them, even if I'm only making 1 or 2, I'll use double-sided tape. It's less expensive, and I'm not concerned necessarily about archival quality or any of that. I make a lot of cards for a lot of different reasons, but it just, I find because I make so many cards, this is a more economical way for me to go. And then decide how much of an area you want matted there, and just stick it down. And then you can either, like I said, use either side, it doesn't matter which. And so if I do it this way, and then I can decide, I might want them on here, on the outside, like that, or I may choose to do it on the inside, or use this way. You just kind of make a design choice on your own. And then for the belly band, what I would do for this one is, this is just the top part. There's a line of that has some information on it, and the other side is a design. And then either put a sentiment like this, or an image on. You can, if you make the inside part clear, or not clear, but solid, you can do some stamping on there. On this one, I decided to keep this side rectangular, and then only make the flaps cut off a little bit. So I only cut off this section and this section, and I stamped it with this new stamp from Close to My Heart. With it's actually not in our new catalog because it's from Australia, but it is available on websites to purchase. So I made the kangaroo here, and then I used the sentiment for the belly band, and I'll just stick that down once again with the double-sided tape and line that up there, and then make that. So this one, the way this one would go together is it would look like this.
and then that's the belly band. And just make the belly band go around. Cut off a little bit on both sides. Use some of the tape on there, and then that's your belly band, and it just slides on and off. So I like the way that looks. Another thing you can do is once you've made your cuts like this and you have it all figured out, you can make these smaller actually, and use designs maybe that you've cut with a die cutting machine, or in this case I used the Cricut, and I'm pretty sure this is from the Artiste cartridge, and I just cut out the heart and then cut it in half and then stuck it on here. And on this side you can see I cut off that this extra white flap here, so that's what it looks like on the back, and I just need to trim this off and then it will go together like that. So I'll do that real quick and show you what I'm talking about. And you could do that with lots of things. You could put a cupcake there, you could put a star, really any shape you liked. And if you had it for a specific holiday, a Christmas tree, something for Thanksgiving or Halloween, or really whatever you wanted to make any kind of fun shape that goes together. And so then that's another way to do that, and then you can decorate the inside. Now, if you have any questions, please contact me. It's Beverly at scrapandthread.blogspot.com. Thanks so much.